Mike Huckabee is in the race. He's about the 28th person to declare on the Republican side, literally the third person in the last 2 days to do so. So let's talk about his record a little bit and what he's about. So he's an interesting case, some good and some bad news here. He's an economic populist, which is very interesting and actually leads other Republicans to attack him. I'll get to that a little bit later in this explanation. He's also very socially conservative. He is very much against any and all abortions and completely against same-sex marriage. So on the social issues, he's probably the most conservative there is in the race. His economic populism is fascinating because he opposes things like Social Security cuts that Governor Chris Christie is proposing in New Jersey. Now, Republicans normally love cuts in Social Security. They get to funnel the money to the rich. Now, Huckabee's not in favor of that. That's fascinating as a Republican and why a lot of other Republicans attack him. Now, I don't want you to get me wrong. I think that Huckabee is pretty much nuts on religious issues. I don't agree with him on any of it, okay? So, I mean, it's one thing to just have an honest disagreement on the abortion issue, same-sex marriage issue. That's conservatives versus liberals. It happens. I think Huckabee goes further and makes ridiculous arguments like, oh, Jesus would have been against setting a minimum wage. He would have wanted employers to be able to pay people less. Yeah, I can see Jesus Christ coming back and saying, you know what, you're being way too generous to those who have the least among you. Doesn't seem like the Christian thing to say. Now, if you want to get more absurd, Huckabee also claims that Jesus Christ is not against the death penalty. Jesus Christ got the death penalty, didn't seem altogether that happy about it, you know, having said, God, why have you forsaken me, as he was dying on the cross. But Huckabee said he did not specifically speak out against the death penalty as he was receiving it, hence he must have been in favor of it. Well, this is modern day conservatism in America, where we twist religion into different knots and pretzels to make it seem as if God loves the rich and wants to crush the poor and the powerless, including giving them the death penalty in some instances. Okay, now, I'm about to get to the good news on Huckabee, but first let's show you his announcement from Hope, Arkansas.
And it was from here that I went on to college at Ouachita Baptist University. And it was also here that I first ran for elected office when I ran for student council at Hope Junior High School. So it seems perfectly fitting that it would be here that I announce that I am a candidate for President of the United States of America.
Wonderfully corny, but so is all of politics. Pretty much well played, no problem. Okay, now who does have a problem here? Well, it is economic conservatives who only care about tax cuts for the rich. The Club for Growth is the best example of that, and they are furious with Mike Huckabee. First, they say if Governor Huckabee's record looked more like candidate Huckabee's talk, then perhaps he could be the economic conservative he claims. But Huckabee's record of high taxes and big spending and his continued defense of that record still ranks him among the worst GOP presidential contenders on the crucial issues of cutting the size, scope, and cost of government and lowering taxes. Now, why do they care so much? Why do they want to attack Huckabee so much? Because, you see, the economic elites in this country took over the Republican Party and obviously huge parts of the Democratic Party as well. But what they did was they misdirected social conservatives to help them get deregulation. So if they want to put a little extra chemicals, poison the nearby rivers and air a little bit more so your kids get that, it's okay, they're doing it for Jesus, right? Cuts their costs and they make more money. They want to have lower taxes. Now, they got social conservatives for decades upon decades to vote with them under the guise that they would do something about abortion or same-sex marriage or all these other issues. Now, in reality, those guys don't give a damn about those issues. What they have a problem with Huckabee is that Huckabee, A, actually cares about those issues. Now, I don't agree with him on those issues, but he does care about them, right? So they don't like that. They're like, no, it's supposed to be a trick. We're not actually supposed to do anything about those things. In fact, the less we do, the more we get these social conservatives to vote with us like suckers for time immemorial. Because we said one more election, and then we'll do something about abortion. Meanwhile, they've been getting their tax cuts all along. The second reason they don't like Huckabee is because he doesn't want to let them cut Social Security. He's an economic populist. He speaks out against the bankers. So all those guys, the Tea Party rebellion, oh my God, the bank bailouts. And then Huffington Post had to go and dig into the other Republicans. Hey, what do you guys think about the bank bailouts? I thought you guys were furious about it. You know, Ted Cruz, what? Huh? What? Bank bailouts? What? No, there's bank bailouts? I don't remember that. Finally, they had to drag a statement out of him. He says, oh, yeah, I'm against it, right? Marco Rubio likewise, Scott Walker even more ambivalent, Jeb Bush in favor of the bank bailouts. Because the whole point of the Republican Party is to bail out the rich and take it from us. When Huckabee disagrees with that plan, he's dangerous. He's dangerous to the rich and to the elite. So dangerous that Club for Growth is going to spend $100,000 fighting against a fellow Republican in 2 states, 2 early primary states. Well, in Iowa case, it's a caucus, and in South Carolina, it's a primary, and they're going to run this ad against them.
Why do conservatives oppose Mike Huckabee?
Americans for Tax Reform, another conservative group, said that state spending during your first 8 years as governor increased by 65%.
You know, the Wall Street Journal has editorialized about your record on taxes. The Arkansas Democrat claims you finished your term as governor of Arkansas with a net tax increase of $505 million.
The tax burden in Arkansas did go up during your tenure from about $1,900 per person to $2,900 per person over 10 years, and also an overall increase of about $500 million.
The Cato Institute, conservative think tank, analyzed your performance, and this is what they said. Arkansas, Mike Huckabee, Republican, final grade F. Mike Huckabee receives an F for his current term and D for his entire tenure. The main reason for the drop was his insistence on raising taxes at almost every turn.
Ready for Huckabee? Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Look, I am not in favor of President Huckabee. I couldn't be more clear about that. I think his social conservative views would be incredibly dangerous for the country and completely misguided. Having said that, the establishment, including the establishment media and the establishment parties, hate people with real ideologies, whether it's conservative or liberal. They don't like that at all. They hate principles. They hate ideas. All they want is one giant ruse to make sure we funnel all the money to the top. And if anybody's going to throw a monkey wrench into that, whether they're liberal like Occupy Wall Street or they're real conservatives like Mike Huckabee, the establishment is not in favor of that. And they're spending money, a lot of money, early to try to defeat Huckabee's campaign before it gets any kind of steam. Because you know what? If you're a real conservative and you're an economic populist, you could pick up steam.